It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. It's Friday and it's time for our Agile Not So Agile episode of the Daily Stand Up Podcast. And I want to call this a journey to Cedarville. Now, I always love to start with a story because it helps build character and build where we're trying to go. So here we go. Let's just call Cedarville a small town nestled in the heart of the Midwest. It had recently been making headlines, but not for the reason one might expect. Amidst a barrage of global news, this heartwarming tale from Cedarville stands out as a testament to the power of a simple act of kindness. So it began on a chilly Monday morning when Jane Patterson, a retired school teacher and a longtime resident of Cedarville, found herself stranded on Fifth Avenue with a flat tire. With arthritis plaguing her hands and her cell phone battery dead, the situation for her looked bleak. Enter Mike Thompson, a teenager known for his tech prowess and his affinity for skateboarding, not necessarily for auto mechanics. However, having seen a YouTube tutorial on tire changing and spotting Jane in her distress, he decided to offer a helping hand. Within half an hour, with a bit of struggle and a lot of determination, the tire was changed. Jane was overwhelmed by gratitude and, without much money to offer, decided to pay Mike in the only way that she could think of at the moment. She offered him 3 of her homemade apple pies, fresh from the oven. Mike's eyes lit up, not just from a tantalizing promise of pie, but from genuine appreciation that he saw in Jane's eyes. The story would be great if it ended right here, but it doesn't. The story continues. Later that week, Mike shared one of the pies with his neighbor, Miss Elaine Rodriguez, a widow who was living with her 2 cats. Miss Rodriguez was so touched by this unexpected gift that she decided to pay the kindness forward. Using her skills as a seamstress, she mended some torn uniforms for a local youth soccer team free of charge. Amazed by this gesture, the soccer team decided to offer free training sessions for kids in the community. This initiative not only provided skill training, but gave many children a constructive and community building way to spend their afternoons. One of these lucky kids, Lily Mitchell, used her newfound soccer skills to organize some community matches, raising funds for the local animal shelter. The shelter, experiencing this unexpected windfall, started a program allowing school children to read to the animals, fostering a love for reading and providing companionship for the lonely animals. This program caught the attention of the local news, and soon Cedarville's chain reaction of kindness was making regional headlines and national headlines. Town people, inspired by these events, began finding their own unique ways to contribute, from free music lessons to community cleanup drives. The acts, some big and some small, created ripples of positive change throughout Cedarville. In a recent town hall meeting, Mayor Allen remarked, "What we've experienced isn't just a series of good deeds, it's become a movement. It's the embodiment of community spirit, proving that one act, even as simple as changing a tire, can set off a chain reaction with far-reaching impacts." Today, Cedarville stands as a shining example of how communities can come together, with the Cedarville Kindness Initiative now being formally introduced in schools, businesses, and local organizations. This story of Cedarville reminds all of us that in a world dominated by vast challenges and cynicism, hope can be ignited by a single act of kindness. It teaches us that kindness is not just an act, but a lifestyle. One that has the power to transform an entire community, an entire city, an entire state, or the entire world. The reason I love this story so much is it reminds me of my 14-year-old daughter, Kate. She often says that the news is disappointing, that it's often bleak and filled with negativity. And her challenge to the world is always, for the next 10 days, could you imagine what the world would be like if each person did one act of kindness for someone else? If each person just extended themselves and did one thing. It doesn't even have to cost money. It could be something simple. That ripple effect that you see here, if one person does it for 10 people over the course of 10 days, and then each of them do it for someone for 10 days for 10 people, the ripple effect could be incredible. And I think that sometimes we think it's going to cost money or take time. It doesn't have to. You could simply give someone a smile that you normally wouldn't smile at, or hold a door open for someone. It doesn't have to be something tremendous, but if it can be something big, make it something big. Create a magical moment where people can relish in kindness and get away from the negativity in the world. And I assure you that when we lose ourselves in helping making others happy, that's when we discover who we really are. That's going to do it. I hope you have an enjoyable weekend, and I hope you take on that challenge. Until next week, I encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile. Do take care. We'll see you Monday.